The chair sees a quorum and calls this meeting of the Board of Metropolitan Police Commission together tonight at 7:02 p.m. on Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. In attendance, we have Kevin Foley, Eric Nichols, John Nixon, and Susan Austin. If everyone would please now join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. If you'll all join me in a moment of reflection and remembering those who have had a loss in their lives and their families over this past turbulent time. Thank you so much. I don't think we had an executive session that we need to certify this time, so we can move on. I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as written.
Okay, Eric has made a motion. John, do you second?
I'll second.
John seconds. All in favor, Kevin, say yes or nay, yay or nay?
Yay.
Eric?
Yay.
Me, yes. And John?
Yes.
Okay. John, can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay. Meeting agenda approved as is. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the prior meeting?
I would make a motion that we accept the minutes from last meeting.
Motion made by John. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Kevin Foley seconds. All in favor signify by saying yay or nay. Kevin Foley?
Yay.
Eric Nichols?
Yay.
John Nixon?
Yes.
Susan Austin, yes. Okay. We have no public joining us tonight from the Zoom meeting, but we do have our Boone County Communications represented with Major Brian Stevenson. Brian?
Well, once again, thank you for the opportunity to come speak to you tonight. Have a few items for you. We continue at the Sheriff's Office to receive addresses of positive COVID-19 cases so we can enter those into our CAD system and notify all of the first responders in the county to make sure that they're using universal precautions when they arrive at an address that has a positive patient. So we continue to do that. We are getting those results daily. They continue to climb. I believe we had 25 in the last 2 days. So it's continuing, and we're continuing to put those in the CAD so we can keep our officers and our public safety safe. We have currently we have 3 communications officers in training. So you know, as usual, when they're in training, your officers will hear some new voices, some green voices, if you will. So we're excited about getting them trained up and getting those fine folks released. One thing I forgot to mention at the last meeting that I was at was we recently convened a hiring board for the 911 director. As I don't think I've spoke of that. Have I, Susan?
No, not that I remember.
Okay. So we convened a hiring board which consisted of a local police chief, a fire chief, a commissioner, a representative for the emergency management, and had a hiring process for the 911 director position. We interviewed 6 fine applicants that were all qualified for the position, And ultimately, the hiring board selected Communications Officer Sam Sorter to become our 911 director. He's actually been in that position for almost 2 months now and has been doing a fantastic job. As most of you know, Sam has been with us for over 20 years. He was a fantastic communications officer, our lead trainer. He just basically did it all in our center and has already taken off and done a great job. In fact, he's coming in and working 8 to 4 in the office, doing administrative duties. And then he's also jumping in since we're at low staff and also dispatching as well. So we're really excited about what Sam's already done. So in the future, we'll be having Sam come to these meetings and then also I'll be coming as well. So my anticipation is that both of us will attend the next meeting and then we'll kind of trade off from there to make sure we give you all of the information that we have at all of your meetings. And actually, that's all I have for this evening. And I'll obviously be here to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Great, thank you. We're looking forward to having Sam with us too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Scott, we'll just hand the agenda over to you as it's all your stuff.
All right, moving on to agency stats. You've probably noticed that the biggest changes on stats are tickets are way up from the previous months, and that's due to us releasing the officers and telling them they can get back to writing tickets. Even with COVID going on, we were getting way too many speed complaints in town that we kind of had to take the gloves off there. Along with that, case reports have gone up quite a bit, and you're going to see that again in August as well. Reserve hours are continuing to climb. We recently started 2 new reserves as well, so those should keep going. And then with the drug stats, the only big difference there is we had 2 overdoses, and most communities are seeing those on the rise again. So I expect we're just going to start getting those again. It is coming back full tilt. And that is all as far as stats, unless anyone has any questions as far as the rest of the numbers.
Well, I appreciate the fact that we're seeing our officers out in the neighborhoods where, as on social media, is everybody saying, oh, they're speeding, we're speeding, our neighbors are speeding. And I've been seeing you guys out there and I really appreciate it. And I know we keep asking, be specific, what color car, tell us the make of the car and what time you're seeing it so that we can make sure you're there at the most appropriate time to catch them.
Correct.
Thank you, Scott.
Moving on to old business, we do have some RQAW items to approve, and this is 2 months worth since we missed last month's. And if anyone has any questions specifically on those, I can try to address those. It's pretty similar to what we've had in the past as far as, you know, the way they bill us.
So I would, if anybody has it up other than just me, I'd entertain a motion. It looks like we have an invoice from RQAW for $2,525.35. Hang on, why won't this? Come on, come on, come on.
25 is the other one.
Scott, I don't think I'm moving this. I have a 642.25 invoice as well.
Correct.
And is there another one? Stupid.
That is all I have, Susan.
You just have the 2. So I'd make a motion we approve those 2 invoice totals as presented.
Second.
Second by Eric Nichols. All in favor, say aye. Kevin Foley,
Aye.
Eric Nichols,
Aye.
John Nixon,
Aye.
Susan Austin, aye. Motion carries 4-0. Okay,
Thanks.
those are that. I don't know why this is so slow tonight.
I think that's all I have on here, to be honest. Yeah, that's the only bills we have.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Advance out. You all should. I included a letter that the town marshal Brad Thomas sent me, and they are. We had a conversation a couple months ago about another vehicle for them. They're trying to put on 5 new reserves, and I think we're in a position where we do have a number of surplus vehicles that I was going to be coming to you anyway, and trying to figure out a way to get rid of some of those. So I would recommend that we go ahead and at least give me the okay to move forward. I haven't identified what vehicle is what, nor have I gotten with Alex to get the proper paperwork, but I just would like to get it in front of you and hopefully get us the approval. It'll be a 2013 Tahoe that was one of our reserve ones that we're no longer going to be using.
I'm really glad we're in the position to help again.
Right.
You know, so many people helped us, and it was just 10 years ago. So is there any discussion from the board?
No, I would just like to echo, Susan, what you've said. Scott, I know that we've done this in the past with, I believe, Lebanon, as I recall. I know that we've done vehicles to other departments, and I just think that's a wonderful thing that we're able to do that. And, you know, I just think helping Advance, I know that they were so appreciative, and to help them get started, I just think that's great.
Alex, do we need a motion, or we just authorize Scott to move forward with the process to decommission a Chevy Tahoe and pass on to council for approval?
I think you need a motion. I mean, it's dealing with money, so I'm always more comfortable if you guys have a motion and authorize Scott, like you said, to move forward. And then we've been through this before, and when it goes to council, hey, kitty, there will be a resolution that the council will adopt, transferring the vehicle to Advance. Advance will adopt a substantially similar resolution accepting it. So that's the process. But yeah, I think a motion to authorize the chief to move forward would be appropriate.
So moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Kevin Foley?
Aye.
Eric Nichols?
Aye.
John Nixon?
Aye.
Susan Austin? Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Scott, for taking care of that.
Thank you, commissioners. And we will probably be visiting that again. The Parks Department has been using one of our Tahoes for about a year, and I'd just like to go ahead and transfer that ownership as well. And we'll deal with that next month. And just so you know, the prosecutor's office, they are writing a grant to hopefully get another investigator. In that grant, they had to show that they would be able to provide that person a vehicle. And I kind of gave them the idea that we would probably be willing to help out with that as well.
Good deal.
Just a heads up.
Sounds like we figured out how to move this inventory.
We're trying. We're trying. Moving on to business, I think all of you probably saw that in an email I sent last month, since we missed the last month's meeting. But Commissioner Nichols, can you speak to item A there, as far as what you guys are doing with the General Order Committee?
Yeah, I think Sergeant Allen's running it, if I'm right there. But we're reviewing all of the general orders that are in Lexipol to check for any potential biases, any language that even if we wouldn't normally interpret it that way, could be twisted to interpret that there's some bias there. We want to make sure that our general orders and the way they're written are fair to everybody, especially given recent turmoil, and how Whitestown Police has, of course, from the start been very committed to making sure we're open, clear, and that everybody is treated fairly and equally. This is just an extension of that project, just to review the general orders. We've been through the 300 series and 400 series. There's more to come as we go. Meeting will be scheduled shortly so that the group of us can discuss what we saw or didn't see in those 300, 400 series. And then we're going to keep periodically doing that as we disperse among the group participating in this. We'll have periodic meetings, go over, see what we found, and make changes as necessary.
Yeah. Thank you guys for doing this. This echoes what council has adopted for all the other departments as well, with all of us to report back in the December council meeting what we've found and what we've changed to make sure that we are as unbiased and indiscriminatory as possible. So I appreciate the time and energy being placed and the attention to this important review.
Thank you. All of our promotions have taken effect, and they've now been in their positions for a little over a month and a half. All four have hit the ground running and are doing excellent things. So I think you're going to see some big changes with the way things are being ran, and I think for the positive. We did complete our DARI scans with Protein Tactical. I think we got that approved earlier in the year. It's the same company that the fire department dealt with, and it was pretty amazing how most people, I think the vast majority of our officers had injuries or had certain pains in the areas that they said that we needed to look at, and extra exercises and stretches to get those up to speed. So we're working that out. We do have a new motorcycle officer in PSO Edwards. He completed that 2 months ago. You're going to see a hiring process come out on Friday for us. It's going to be a full-fledged hiring process, not just a lateral process. So you will be seeing it on social media. So just a heads up. I'm going to add a couple of things here just briefly, but PSO Chuck, I knew this was coming, but I hadn't received the official date, but she's leaving us on September 12th. It's a personal move of her part to, she's moving back home. It has nothing to do with the department. She's leaving on good terms and all of that. So we hate to see her leave, but unfortunately, she's done working. So hence the hiring process and why that date got moved up. And we're going to create another list to hopefully hire by the end of the year some other officers as well. And one last thing, Captain Yurkash was asked to sit on the board of advisors. There's a new coalition being started that's called the Boone County Diversity Coalition. And he was asked to sit on the board of directors for that. So he accepted that, and they're going to start meeting, I think, next week. And I think we may have an officer on that as well before it's done. So I'm kind of excited about that, just to be involved.
That's excellent. Thank you.
So
yeah, Chief, I'm sorry. Just to touch back on the promotions, and I am so excited about that, and I know you are too. I know we were a little bit concerned about the other officers that maybe weren't selected and how their attitudes would be. Could you explain, has that gone over okay? I know you were going to do like a preemptive strike, so to speak, on some of the officers that weren't selected, and maybe inform them of what they could do a little bit better for future promotions and that type thing. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, for sure. I did speak with the majority of the officers who had put in for positions who weren't going to get them before that word got out, as far as who got those positions. Everybody was very accepting, which is great. Of course, there were some people that were hurt and expected certain things to go their way. I think we are completely over hurt feelings at this point, and everybody is doing their jobs, quite frankly, and for the betterment of the department, and we have no issues at all.
Good, I'm glad. Thank you.
Chief, can we say the names of those who have been promoted so that
we can. The
public can hear? And will you be bringing them to council at some point for penning, or are we going to do that at the dedication?
Council penning would have been would have been great to do. I don't think that's going to be realistic with the way things
Okay.
are. I think at the dedication is when we will absolutely get that done.
That'd be perfect.
You see John up there, but Captain John Yurkosh, he is now my number 2, captain over operations. And Lieutenant Elizabeth Campbell became the night shift lieutenant. That was a new position added. Sergeant Joel Parks replaced Captain Yurkosh, who was the sergeant on night shift, and he is opposite Sergeant Root. So both of our K9 night shift K9 officers are sergeants on night shift.
Awesome.
Then we moved Joe Turney into investigations to replace Elizabeth, and he's doing an excellent job in there, and really starting to take off and work some cases and handle things the way we'd like to see. So pretty exciting for everybody there.
I know we were all, when we read it and you shared initially with us who had come through the ranks for the promotion, we were all very pleased. And so our congratulations to these newly promoted officers. You guys have worked really hard and we thank you.
Absolutely. So with that, I have nothing else to go over. Does anyone else have anything that they'd like to discuss? All right.
Well, then with that said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and all in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Welcome to fall, and we will see you in the middle of fall in October.